Welcome back to Real Family Secrets. Grab your snacks, get comfortable. The people in these stories had every chance to behave themselves. They just chose wrong. Drop a comment and be sure to subscribe. You're going to love it here. My name is Nicole Vance. 8 years ago, my husband left me because I couldn't give him children. Or at least, that was the story he told everyone. Last month, his mother left a medical report on her coffee table by mistake, and within 10 minutes, the second family Charles built with my sister began collapsing in front of him. Charles and I met when we were both 27, working at the same nonprofit in Richmond. He was thoughtful, charming, the kind of man who remembered people's birthdays and always knew when someone in a room felt left out. We married 2 years later. For the first 5 years, I genuinely believed we had a good life. Not perfect, but real. We had a small house, 2 dogs, Sunday dinners with my mother and sister Emily, and all the ordinary plans married people make when they assume time is on their side. Then came the fertility appointments. Month after month, tests, procedures, conversations that became harder every time they repeated. Eventually, a specialist told us the difficulty was likely on my side. I carried that diagnosis like a private failure. Charles said he loved me anyway. He said we would figure it out together. But together lasted less than a year. Charles grew distant. He worked later. He stopped touching me casually. Then, one Tuesday night, sitting across from me at the kitchen table, he told me he didn't think he could live with the possibility of never becoming a father. He said he still cared about me. He said none of it was my fault. But he packed a bag that weekend and moved into an apartment across town. Our divorce was finalized 6 months later. Charles moved on quickly. Too quickly, I thought at the time, though I didn't let myself examine it closely. 9 months after our divorce, he announced he was engaged to my younger sister, Emily. And I remember standing in my mother's kitchen while Emily held out her hand, a diamond ring catching the light, trying to make my face do something other than break. "It wasn't planned, Nicole," she said. "We didn't mean for feelings to happen." Feelings. That was the word my sister used for dating the man who had left me because my body, supposedly, had failed him. My mother begged me not to make her choose. Charles and Emily married the following spring. I did not attend. Within 3 years, they had twins, a boy and a girl named Mason and Claire. I sent birthday gifts. I showed up to Christmas sometimes. I smiled when I had to. But I kept a careful distance because watching my ex-husband build the exact family he said he had left me to find was a pain that never fully learned how to become ordinary. 8 years passed that way. I rebuilt my own life slowly. I opened a small interior design studio. I bought a townhouse. I learned that survival doesn't always feel brave while you're doing it. Sometimes it just feels like getting through another Tuesday. Charles and Emily appeared happy. They had the twins, a larger house, family vacations framed carefully on social media. To everyone else, they were proof that everything had worked out exactly as it was supposed to. Then, 3 weeks ago, my mother called and asked if I would come over. Her voice sounded strange, unsteady in a way I hadn't heard since my father died. "Charles is coming by tonight," she said. "Emily too. I think we should all have dinner." And I almost said no, but something in her tone made me agree. And my mother had recently been sorting through old files after moving into a smaller house. She'd found boxes from every stage of our lives: school records, insurance documents, old photographs, hospital paperwork she had saved because mothers save things they don't know how to throw away. And when I arrived, dinner was nearly ready. Emily stood in the kitchen arranging plates. Charles was in the living room with the twins, helping them build a crooked tower of wooden blocks. On the coffee table, beside an old family photo album, lay a thin manila folder. I noticed it, but didn't think much of it. My mother had papers everywhere lately. We ate dinner. The conversation stayed shallow. The twins' school, Emily's new job, a neighbor's dog that had gotten loose. Charles was unusually quiet. After dinner, Mason knocked over a glass of juice near the couch. My mother rushed toward the kitchen for towels, and Charles crouched to help clean it up. The manila folder slipped off the coffee table and fell open on the floor. One page slid free. Charles saw it first. In Seton. He picked it up slowly. I watched his eyes move across the page. His face changed in pieces, confusion, then disbelief, then something so raw and immediate that Emily stopped speaking mid-sentence. "Charles?" she asked. "What's wrong?" He didn't answer her. He looked at my mother instead. "What is this?" he asked. My mother went pale. She reached for the page, but Charles stepped back before she could take it. I walked closer. At the top of the page were words I recognized immediately: male fertility assessment, confidential medical report. The patient name was Charles Vance. The report was dated 9 years earlier, before he had left me, before he had told me our future was impossible, before he had married my sister. It stated plainly that Charles had a severe fertility condition. The report didn't say unlikely. It didn't say difficult. It said that natural conception was, according to the specialist, extremely improbable without medical intervention. Charles looked from the report to Emily, then at the twins, who were still sitting on the rug, too young to understand why every adult in the room had suddenly stopped breathing. "You've known for 9 years?" Charles asked my mother. "You knew?" My mother sat down hard in the armchair. "I found the report in your old things after you moved out," she whispered. "You had asked me to hold on to some documents while you were changing apartments. I didn't understand what it meant at first." "You understood enough not to tell me," Charles said. "I thought you knew," she said, "and then you left Nicole, and then Emily." Her voice broke. "I thought maybe there was a reason you didn't want it discussed." My mind had stopped moving. For 8 years, I had believed I was the reason Charles left. I had watched him marry my sister and raise children while carrying the humiliation of a diagnosis that apparently had never been mine alone. "Charles," I said, "did you know about this report?" He looked at me, and for the first time in 8 years, I saw genuine fear in his face. "I had testing," he said, "but the doctor told me there were things we could try. I never saw that final report." "You never saw it," I said slowly, "but you were comfortable letting me believe I was the reason you left." He couldn't answer that. Emily stood near the dining table, one hand pressed flat against the wood. "Charles," she said softly, "if this is true, then Mason and Claire." She didn't finish. The room changed again. This time, everyone understood the question without saying it out loud. Charles turned toward Emily. "What are you saying?" "I'm not saying anything," she said too quickly. "I'm saying we need to talk privately." "No," Charles said. "You need to answer me now." Emily began crying, not the quiet kind, the kind that comes when a lie has finally reached the end of its available exits. "I was scared," she said. "You wanted children so badly. You had already lost Nicole because of it. I didn't know what to do when the treatments didn't work." Charles stared at her. "Treatments?" "There was someone else," Emily whispered. "Before the twins were born. It was a mistake. It was one time at first, and then I didn't know how to tell you anything after I found out I was pregnant." No one spoke. The twins' block tower finally tipped over, scattering across the rug with a soft wooden clatter. I looked at Charles, the man who had abandoned me under the weight of a lie, and I felt something I hadn't expected. Not joy, not revenge, just a deep, exhausted sadness for all the damage people do when they are too afraid to tell the truth, while truth might still help. Names. Charles left my mother's house that night without saying goodbye to anyone. He drove away too fast, carrying the report in one hand and 8 years of certainty collapsing behind him. Emily stayed with my mother for several hours. Eventually, she took the twins home. She and Charles separated within the month. Charles came to my townhouse 2 weeks later. He stood on my porch, holding the same medical report, folded and unfolded so many times the paper had gone soft at the edges. "Nicole," he said, "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know about the report. I should never have left you. I should never have blamed you." "You didn't need the report to know what you did was cruel," I said. "You knew I was hurting. You knew I believed I had failed you. And you let me carry that because it made leaving easier for you." He began to cry. I believed he was sorry. I also knew that regret and repair are not the same thing. "I forgive you enough to stop hating you," I said. "But I won't rebuild a life with you because you finally understand what you destroyed." He nodded. Then he left. I still see my mother. Our relationship is complicated now, but complicated is more honest than pretending nothing happened. Emily and I do not speak. Not yet, maybe not ever, but I send birthday cards for Mason and Claire, because whatever adults do to each other, children should not inherit the silence we create. For 8 years, I thought my life had been broken because something in me wasn't enough. Then one forgotten folder revealed the truth. I was never the defect in that story. I was simply the person they found it easiest to blame. If this story moved you, subscribe for more real family stories, and tell us in the comments, Could you forgive someone who let you carry a lie for 8 years?
Something about the way we move through smoke and silence. Can't tell if we're falling or crashing.
Pull up to the function, vision getting blurry now. Put tight on the wheel, yeah, we swerving through the clouds. Got my demons in the backseat. They been riding around, pour another, feel the thunder, hear that rumble sound.
She don't trust the words I say, but trust the way I move. Astronomical, we chemical, no logic to this groove. Time froze when she touched me, felt the universe expand. Now we're drifting through dimensions I don't understand. You said we burn it all down. Watch it dissolve into sound. We're too high for goodbye. Gravity can't hold what we are. Riding waves through the void. Can't remember who we were before. Too high, too high, too high.
Yeah, we're so high for goodbye.
Your tattoos tell stories that your mouth won't confess. I've been reading every line across your chest. We collide like planets, pull apart like tide. You're the chaos that I crave when I'm trying to hide. Pills on the counter, bottles on the floor. You keep asking what I'm searching for. Maybe nothing, maybe everything at once. We're just bodies learning how to front. Crash the whip into tomorrow. Drown the pain, don't need to borrow. All this rage and all this sorrow. Turn the static on the stereo. Check the rear view, see my past life fading quick. See my antidote, my overdose, my favorite trick. We don't sleep, we just listen frequency. Riding baseline, tangled in the mystery. Too high for goodbyes. Gravity can't hold.